To the show. It is 4 o'clock Central, broadcasting live on X American News. This is the Paul Harold program. A legend, a wrestling legend, an American icon, Hulk Hogan, has passed away. We're going to talk a little bit about that and so much more. The Paul Harold program starts right now.
The Paul Harold program.
All right, folks, as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Rob Spencer is with us. Rob, thank you so much for being with me. Like you always are. We really appreciate it.
I try to be here as much as I can, as much as my business will allow, but it is an honor to be here as always, just talking about the news of the day. We thought we were going to have an additional in-studio guest with us today, but he is unfortunately tied up. He's going out of town tomorrow, so you know how that is if you're working and you're trying to get all of your things accomplished. So he is going to join us next week. So we're really excited to be here with you as always. You know, of course, there is a lot happening right now. Of course, you know, Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster, passing away. I'd heard some reports just several months ago that he was not doing well, but they were unconfirmed reports, so you just never really know how that's going to go down with all the fake news. I mean, we've seen all this stuff where they're saying, oh, this person is dead. And I mean, how many times have some of these celebrities died, you know, and turn out that it was fake news. But essentially, Hulk Hogan, my childhood growing up, you know, a wrestling icon. And then we are going to get into all of the happenings, you know, after the bombshell, you know, press conference from Tulsi Gabbard. Well, it was a press briefing that turned into essentially this, you know, press conference where Tulsi was torching, and new information coming out. I really like Jonathan Turley's take on that, and I'll mention that when we get into it. So
no, absolutely. I haven't heard the Turley take, so I definitely want to hear that. But yeah, so obviously the reason, I mean, Hulk Hogan he's influential in I mean, in our generation.
Sure.
It was incredible.
He's the first wrestling superstar.
Yeah,
you know?
And it was nuts, you know, that fight when he fought Andre the Giant. I think everybody remembers that.
Yeah.
But when I think of Hulk Hogan, and maybe it was just because of, you know, how I grew up or whatever, the one thing I think of is what were they called? Wrestling buddies. They were big, like almost pillows, but and then they had a Hulk Hogan one, and I think I had one of those.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what they were called, but yeah, they were about the size of a pillow.
Yeah,
you know, and you would wrestle with these things.
Yeah, I mean, the commercials just made it out like you were literally like, oh, this is actually Hulk Hogan, and, you know, body slamming or whatever.
Well, we even had the ring. We even had the little toy ring with the figurines or whatever they're called, action figures.
Yeah.
So we had those, and you know, you'd pull it into the rope. You know, the ropes, and then you would sling off, and it was like a slingshot, which was not even realistic whatsoever. So,
but he's probably most known, you know, in the most recent year, he's most known for what he did at the Republican National Convention.
It was a big deal, and they even, you know, Saturday Night Live and others made fun of him for it. But it was totally Hulk Hogan-esque.
Yeah, if you go back, you kind of put yourself in the mindset, right? President Trump just survived an assassination attempt, coming up bloody. Fight. Then a few days later, we have this moment.
What happened last week when they took a shot at my hero and they tried to kill the next president of the United States? Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
I mean, it truly was an incredible moment.
It was, you know, and people want to make fun of it, and they're like, oh, yeah, you know, the liberal snobs wanted to say, oh, well, you got Hulk Hogan ripping off his shirt, like, and then you're like, okay, well, you just had a dude who thinks he's a woman coming up here and talking about how that is sane. You know, you want to rip on Hulk Hogan. That was a truly electrifying moment, especially at a time where we needed to smile, as conservatives, when we're going into this. Donald Trump was coming out with this ear patch, and it was a stark reminder of what had just happened to him just a few days prior to that. And he survived. We've talked about that. He survived death. We survived the outbreak of what a lot of us believe would have been a civil war.
Yeah,
it would have been definitely an uprising here.
Yeah.
We would have seen something, unprecedented, in the reaction that we would have had here if he had not turned his head at that very, very, very moment. So divine intervention, whatever you want to call it, but he had this triumphant, entrance, right? And there was just this feeling of patriotism,
It was fantastic.
And then Hulk Hogan came out, right? And this patriotism is swelling inside us, right? And it's just it just needs to explode. And Hulk Hogan gave us the reason. He gave us the ability to just let it go out, right?
Yeah.
And boom,
you're exactly right.
comes.
And I think a couple of things on that. Like, number one, he said they tried to put him in jail, and they tried to kill him. So that alone I thought was incredible, because that's what most Americans thought, right?
Yeah.
We still don't believe the official narrative. At bare minimum, it was a Secret Service stand-down order, but I think most people believe this was an attempt to do a JFK 2.0 right before the Republican National Convention. So there's that, and but I will also say this: I think the liberals making fun of Hulk Hogan after he did this is the reason why they lost. It's like the deplorable moment. They really just think these flyover country rural people that liked wrestling at one point in their life when they were growing up, they don't get it. They don't understand it. They think they're better than us, and that's why they made fun.
Well, it could also be equated to the nerd sitting over there, in the corner of the cafeteria, lowly thinking about their existence, and this cool quarterback comes in and he's smooth and calm and collected and always says the right things, and they're like, he's so stupid, he doesn't know what he's doing, right? Like it is, you're sitting there tossing stones at Hulk Hogan for this electrifying moment. How else would you expect Hulk Hogan to be?
Yeah, this is who he is.
This is Hulk Hogan, right? I mean, he's, Hulk Hogan / Thunder Lips, from Rocky III, right? This is how he is, and he gave this speech, and I believe that, it's the Hulk Hogan character, but that the reason that Hulk Hogan character has been so sustained over the many years is because it's not too far from who he actually is. Right. And obviously he's not going around ripping his shirts off all the time, but at the same time, like, that's how he felt. He felt like someone he truly respected. Donald Trump was at best, this inches away from death by happenstance. At worst, there was an attempted coup. An attempted coup, maybe not be the right word, but there was an attempted, takedown of someone he highly respected. And I feel like his shirt ripping off was not just a character, it was how he felt, and many other Americans did as well.
And they, for sure identified with it. It was an electric moment. Then, of course, a couple of months ago, Hulk Hogan gave his life to Christ, or rededicated his life. Got baptized. He and his wife got baptized. And then he went on a show and actually talked a little bit about that. We have that clip here.
Speaking of that, spirituality and your relationship with God is important to you. And I know that you were a Christian and been a Christian through your whole life, but I'm sure there's been like a reawakening of sorts. Like, when did that happen for you, and when did you really start that walk again with God?
Well, recently. I mean, I was saved when I was 14. I was playing guitar at a youth ranch. I was playing football, and a couple of football players say, hey, we go to this Christian youth ranch and we sing every week. So I went with them. And then, they said, oh, he can play guitar. So the next week I brought my guitar and ended up playing guitar for all the songs and stuff. And I accepted Christ as my Savior then, but it took a while for me to get it. But then, rock and roll music, wrestling, didn't follow the path for many years. And then with all the stuff that's happened in my life personally, all the crashing and burning and getting up and moving forward and starting over and crashing and burning again, and this mistake after that mistake. I just totally surrendered, man. And I said, you know what? I've fought harder than anybody. I've worked more longer hours than anybody. And I'm just so tired of being in the same empty back to zero space that I started going back to church every weekend and got baptized, totally surrendered. And now I just tell my big God about my little problems, and all these people that nip at my heels, brother, I just pray for them. I can't get involved with the drama because, you know, I just let God fight those battles, man. I just let him take over, and no matter what type of drama comes at me, and it's always something, you know, I just sit back and try as best as I can. And I'm not always good at it. I try as best as I can just to remain still.
Yeah.
Tell my big God about my small problems. It's pretty incredible.
It is. Yeah. And when he's talking about all the trials, you know, of course, and when you're a public figure like he is, undoubtedly, you've got haters. You've got all of these people coming out of the woodwork. And then, of course, he had, you know, personal life drama with his divorce from his ex-wife, the mother of his children, and then seeing, you know, drama with his children who were thrust into the spotlight with their show, very popular reality show, the Hogans. I can't remember what it was called, but I believe it was.
I don't either, but, you know, it's crazy. Just the idea of reality TV, how that was such a big thing.
It was a big deal.
In the early 2000s.
We wanted to know, you know, what was it like for a celebrity and all of those things. And so he had all of those traumas. And then he had, I believe I saw an interview that said something of the effect where he had, you know, 25 to 30 surgeries in the last 10 years. You know, he's had just so much go wrong with his body over the years of abuse, you know, in the wrestling industry,
right?
You know, because he started out as in the 70s, right?
It's incredible, yeah.
You know, he came up and he did all of this stuff, and then he, started doing acting and all of these things, and probably one of the worst movies of all time, but it's like the best, is because of the cult classic called No Holds Barred. Okay.
I've never seen that one.
Okay, so it's No Holds Barred, and I just want you to look up on YouTube, not right now on the show, No Holds Barred. I can't even say it. No Holds Barred, What's That Smell? If you will just look that up on YouTube and just have fun with
All
that.
right, okay.
So it's the cheesiest, funniest sort of sad thing. But anyway, so I'm making light of something that he just said that was very serious. And he just like, hey, I dedicated my life to Christ very early, but I didn't really know how to win. And then life happened, life on the road, and all of these things that come probably from being a celebrity. And then all of the trauma that happened, and then he's like, hey, look, I'm just going to give all of this to God. And then he rededicates his life to Christ. And, you know, he does that, thankfully, you know, in the last couple of years of his life.
Yeah, I think what you could say is there's, you know, positive fruit in his life.
Yeah.
It's just, it's good. It's good to see that, especially it's very tough for celebrities. You know what I mean? Very tough. You saw that. I think you see this, and we have no idea how we would react in these situations when we're surrounded by all of this vice and all of this money and everything else. Well, you saw it with Johnny Cash, right? Johnny Cash has this roller coaster of a career, and he eventually lands on Christ. And
after a crash out, many crash outs.
But you know, there's a lot of celebrities that's just not what happens to them. So these instances are rare, I believe, and it's something to celebrate.
Well, Bill Murray said, you know, he said to your point there, when he was talking to a group of people and they were like, hey, I would really like to be famous, and Bill Murray always tells them, don't wish to be famous, wish to be rich, you know, because fame, like, I can't go anywhere. I can never go anywhere and just be a dude, you know, like it's always, can I take a picture with you?
The Dalai Lama. Yeah. I bet that's what he gets a lot.
Oh my gosh. You know? Right. I mean, he is, and Bill Murray is not just regarded as this, you know, big time celebrity. He's also regarded as like somebody that's really cool, like you would want to talk to, that seems very approachable, you know. And, and Hulk Hogan, man, I mean, he transcends. I mean, everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is. And even though there have been other huge celebrities come out of wrestling, right, you know, with The Rock, you know, John Cena and even, I mean, I guess you could say Macho Man Randy Savage and all of these big time people. And I know I'm thinking of Ric Flair.
Oh yeah,
the immortal. Yeah, woo, right. And to this day, Ric Flair is the essence of cool, right? The limousine riding, jet flying. But has there ever been a bigger name, a bigger celebrity than Hulk Hogan?
Yeah,
that came out of wrestling, and
no.
I mean, I think The Rock may end up being that person.
Yeah, you could say that, but the Rock doesn't get there without standing on the shoulders of somebody like the people that came before him, like a Hulk Hogan. So, all right, have you heard that gas cans have been liberated? Have you heard this?
Okay, I heard this right before the show. You told me, and
I did say
thankfully, yes, because my God in heaven. Look graciously upon us with these gas cans of today.
The EPA Director Lee Zeldin ends the ridiculous regulations that made gas cans completely useless in America for literally no reason.
They were
These
worst.
small, pointless regulations have grown for decades with never-ending government control over even the smallest parts of American lives. Finally, we have an administration that is actually willing to deregulate more of this. Lee Zeldin tweeting, gas cans used to pour gas. Now they just dribble like a child's sippy cup. The Trump's EPA message to gas can makers: vent the darn can and let it flow, baby.
Yes. Okay, let me just tell you something. Here's the biggest frustration, and anybody that's...
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and anybody watching this is going to get an idea. You almost have to do like some trickeration and like a little bit of gymnastics. You got to be holding this hand just a certain way, and you're like twisted into a pretzel to actually get this gas can to work
gasoline
properly.
all over you.
Yes, everywhere. It defeats the purpose of this BS.
It also made old gas cans more valuable than gold.
They did, yeah.
I mean, I've got my dad has this old tin gas can, that's got this little button on it, and you push it, and that's what vents it. And it's,
sure.
And then there were people with, you were telling me this on the TikTok shop, but there's
conversion kits,
or you can buy, it's not sold as a gas spout, it's sold as a water spout,
yeah,
but it fits perfectly on them.
But you know what it is, yes. Yeah. And even TikTok shop they've like rejuvenated jerry cans for like which is what they use in the military.
Okay.
Those metal cans that can hold gasoline up to like 5 years versus in the plastic, it's only supposed to throw it away every 30 days. No one ever does, but anyway, yeah. So this with a conversion kit, like I had an old gas can that had the traditional nozzle and all of that stuff. And it was in the back of my truck, and I guess I had to like slam on the brakes, and it slammed against the bed of my truck, and it broke off the nozzle for it, and I couldn't find a nozzle that refitted. I mourned.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mourned it, Paul.
I've got. Let's see. My parents have like 4 or 5 gas cans, and every winter when it's going to freeze or some sort of power blackout, so we refill them for the generators in case we need the generators.
Sure.
And so then when that doesn't happen, I've got gas to mow my yard for the next year, basically. And so I just swap out the cans. And so I recently had to go swap out the can, and I have a one that works, and they have one that doesn't work. And so I take it over there and fill up my lawnmower, and it's like, it's so weird that you have to, it's not going to come out unless you push it in. So you got to, at least the one I have is not like this. There's a nozzle that has to come down in order for the flow to start, but then it doesn't want to come down. So then you have to pinch this little mechanism to get it to work. And
that's what I said. Yeah, like you feel like you're in a pretzel.
And then in this one, I've used one of these. I was at a gas station last year, and some lady was pulling up and ran out of gas right on the hill trying to come up to the gas station. And so I went and got her some gas. I went to the gas station, got one of these, and I couldn't get the gas in her car. Like we spilled half the bucket or whatever all over the side of her car because finally I figured out how to get it to work. But my goodness, it's just totally impractical.
Yeah. So props to Lee Zeldin here for basically saving all the men You know, from walking into Ace Hardware or Lowe's or Home Depot and only seeing these monstrosities.
Seriously, like you can give people a gas can for Christmas.
Yeah,
that would be probably an amazing Christmas gift for the guys in your family. Here's a gas can.
There you go. Whatever company is the fastest to shelf on these are the ones that are going to really rack up, because all these dudes are going to be like, oh, I'm going to Lowe's.
Yep, going to move the product real fast.
Yep.
All right, in other news, let's get down to the DOJ. The DOJ, Justice Department, has now announced the formation of a strike force to assess evidence publicized by the ODNI. So all these new revelations from Tulsi Gabbard are now going to, they've been sent off to the Department of Justice. Now, I am told that there's more documents coming. Tulsi Gabbard intuited that on Jesse Waters' show last night, that there's going to even be more stuff. There's stuff going on in the background. So now they have this strike force, which is, honestly, be real, it's just a ridiculous name. They shouldn't call. I mean, you know, they shouldn't call it stuff like that. And really and truly, I wish
they're just trying to like not use the word task force.
I have no idea. I just wish they wouldn't have said anything and just arrest somebody. And if it takes a week or a month or whatever, just quit talking about it. You know, let Tulsi Gabbard continue talking about it. That's great. That's fine, because we're actually getting new information. But this is put up or shut up time. For Pam Bondi, this is put up or shut up time.
I completely agree, because it lends itself more to the whole, like, anytime you're if you work at a company and there's been enough complaints to HR, they're like, hey, we're forming this committee, and this committee's going to analyze all of what's going on with these problems, and what they're going to do is within 12 months they're going to suggest some changes that we're going to make, and then we're going to review those as leadership, and then we're going to get back with the committee on some changes, whatever. Hey, guys, within the next 36 months here, we're going to see some real changes, you know? And people are like, oh, listen, dude, all we want is the vending machines in the break room to be filled up more often, because they're running out. That's all we're wanting.
Yeah, look at what Lindsey Graham says about this. To your point, Rob. For the good of the country, Senator John Cornyn, by the way, who's underwater in Texas against Ken Paxton, even though I know Ken Paxton is now getting a divorce and they're going to use that against him. For the good of the country, Senator John Cornyn and I urge Attorney General Bondi to appoint a special counsel to investigate the extent to which former President Obama, his staff, and administrative officials manipulated the U.S. national security apparatus for a political outcome. This is a terrible idea. Whatever you do, Pam Bondi, do not listen to Lindsey Graham.
I am so sick.
This is a way to. He just wants to slow the process down.
Yeah.
We don't need a special counsel on this. Can we please just move forward? The evidence is there. Assemble the grand juries and get it done. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, take Lindsey Graham's X account away from him so he'll shut the hell up. But I am so sick of special counsels, because at the minimum, what do you think, 2 years?
That tends to be what happens.
Yeah, at the minimum, that's what you're going to have, right? And so you're going to, we're going to investigate all this stuff or whatever. Like, no, Tulsi just, if you believe the accounts here, Tulsi just handed you a completed file of all the evidence. You go in there, Pam Bondi, as the Attorney General, have the Department of Justice do an investigation, get all of these stuff, and she's referred these people for criminal prosecution.
The only thing that Pam Bondi and the Justice Department need to do is just go listen to all of James Clapper, John Brennan, Barack Obama, James Comey's public statements.
Sure.
Just go and their testimonies before Congress or whatever, and then just compare it to what that's all you have to do. It's pretty easy.
That's true. Easy. Yeah, and Jonathan Turley said on Fox News, I believe it was earlier today, that he believes that Brennan is the most exposed. As he put it, he believes that that Brennan is a 30-point buck that's walking out in the open. That's what he feels like. And so Jonathan Turley is a constitutional law professor, and he is a Democrat. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't, you're a Fox News contributor, you're not really a Democrat. Okay, well, I believe Jonathan Turley is tired of the liberal lunacy, right? So he's probably more of an independent at this point. But it doesn't make him less wrong or less right, or more wrong or more right about this stuff. I truly believe his analysis there, that there is a there.
Yeah.
On all of these individuals.
Right.
And we need perp walk. I think we just need to start tweeting that. Where's the perp walk? Every time somebody like, we're forming this, we've got some new evidence. Where's the perp walk?
Where is it?
Because otherwise, you're just talking out of your A.
None of this matters. None of this matters if they don't actually produce anything. It's not enough. And so the question is, why did it take this long to get to an Intel committee report that was assembled in Trump's first term? That's the question a lot of people are asking. How come it took so long? Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna went on Glenn Beck's television show, and they had a conversation about it. Listen to this.
Released today. That was in a vault. There were 5 copies, but it was part of the Intel review done by the House when Trump was in office.
And they didn't release it.
Why?
I would say because former people that were head of the intelligence community, and remember, if you go back to even, I'll just use this as an example, the speaker's fight in January of 2 years ago. A lot of people were like, why are these people fighting for such changes in the House of Representatives, whether it was people in charge of committees or the Rules Committee, which determines the legislation that comes to the floor? It was because it was our own people that were blocking this information. I actually just brought this up earlier today. Why did the former ODNI not release this information? And why is it that you have Republican senators now trying to claw back Tulsi's power? What are they so afraid of? What are they so afraid of that they're then trying to tell her that she doesn't have the authority to do what she's doing? So, look, accountability is key, but they should have released this information then. And you're really seeing, even though it's the same president, 2 very different administrations. The administration in 2016 under President Trump was filled with a lot of swampy people and people that were trying to stonewall and block his agenda. It's totally different right now.
So this is interesting. You brought up Tom Cotton. We covered this. We covered the last refuge conservative treehouse, pointing out that Cotton's legislation would claw back Tulsi Gabbard's authority, would end her ability to come up with her own intelligence assessments as well, and it would basically just mean that
and Arkansas congressmen are in the thick of this. They are in the middle of this.
It's a tale of 2 Arkansas delegates.
Don't skip out on Arkansas.
We have 6 delegates. We've got 4 congressmen. We've got 2 senators. Correct. One of those senators is Tom Cotton. Tom Cotton is the head of the Permanent Select Committee on Intel.
Yes.
One of our congressmen here in Northeast Arkansas is Congressman Rick Crawford. Rick is the chairman of the House Permanent Intel Committee. And so if you really want to know why we got this piece of information through Tulsi Gabbard, we have to recognize Congressman Rick Crawford, and we have to say he's doing an incredible job.
He's doing an incredible job. He's saying, hey, let's come out of the shadows with this stuff.
So you go back on January 16th, and this is when Congressman Crawford was given the nod from Speaker Mike Johnson to assume this position. He wrote, I'm honored to be selected to lead the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. I look forward to working with Speaker Johnson and the incoming Trump administration team to advance priorities that are important to Americans.
Yeah. So he was, and one of the things it's noteworthy, and he addresses it, I believe, in the last line of that tweet. I can't remember there, but he, So I believe he was the most senior member of that committee.
Yeah, he was. It was interesting. So he's been on the committee since joining the committee in 2017. So Rick was in the thick of it, and he regularly, when I was on radio, he would regularly come on my program and talk about this. Mm-hmm. He was in the thick of it with Devin Nunes, and when they were going the back and forth, and he actually came on my show and called James Comey a quote scumbag. One time, because this was back when Comey was, we were proving. We've always known he's a liar. We just have it in black and white now. And so what's interesting, though, you go back to January of this year, Crawford takes the position just one day after the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, removed or fired Ohio Representative Mike Turner. So Mike Turner got the nod, and this is how the liberals over at Axios reported it. Headline, Mike Johnson faces bipartisan shock and fury for ousting Intel chair. So if that doesn't tell you something, that tells you that this is about the uniparty. That what's his name? I'm sorry, Mike Turner. Okay, Mike Turner is part of the Intel community that was protecting the Intel community.
Okay, so Mike Turner, just refresh my memory. Is he a Democrat or a Republican?
He's a Republican. This is what Paulina Luna was just saying. Our own people wouldn't want this stuff out.
Okay, so you're trying to tell me that there's some sort of conspiracy when a Republican Speaker of the House removes one Republican and puts another one in place. That there's something nefarious about that. Why would you have a problem with that? What do you care, Democrats?
That's a great point.
Because Turner, a little bit different than Crawford here.
I think what we could say is if Turner were still on there, we probably wouldn't have gotten
We wouldn't
this.
known crap about it. And that's exactly my point here. He wanted to put someone. Now, okay, Rick Crawford, we obviously have a high opinion of him. He is our representative here in Northeast Arkansas. He's been, was it since 2010, something like that? I don't know when he was first elected.
Yes, 2010.
Okay, so, but not necessarily. I never equated him to Tea Party. You would know more than I would about
Well, he
that.
certainly rode that wave. So, yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
I mean,
I never mentally put him in the
well,
same.
certainly in the beginning. I mean, this
Yeah.
Axios piece says that, Rick Crawford is more friendly to MAGA than Mike Turner was. I think that's 100% the truth.
I think Rick would say that.
Which is the real reason why this liberal rag is so mad.
He's so mad. They're like, how dare Mike Johnson put someone that aligns more with the current president?
If we go back and actually, this was Rick's statement when he got the top intel position. He says, the committee has a unique opportunity to work toward rebuilding our intelligence apparatus so that our intelligence community is focused on the challenges of today and prepared for the threats of tomorrow. It is our aim to rebuild relationships with our partners in the Western Hemisphere, address issues with the development of intelligence community assessments, determine which intelligence tools are needed to protect Americans, and provide our brave men and women in the U.S. intelligence services with the support they need. In our age of increasing threats from abroad and bloated bureaucracy at home, the committee will be committed to preventing enemies' attacks and, listen to this, upholding the privacy rights of all American citizens.
Ding, ding, ding.
Indicating that that's not happening, obviously.
Hey, to me, that says we've got some trust to build up with the American public here, especially when you're talking about the intelligence communities. They're equated with Big Brother at this point, right? Like, we are monitoring you. We know everything that you're doing at all times.
They're weaponized against the people.
Correct.
We're not free.
Correct. And I think that Rick Crawford there is speaking to all of the pain points that sensible citizens, whether Republican or Democrat, if you are sensible and if you are analyzing what's happening with the intelligence community, you've looked at this and said, whoa, wait a minute.
Yep.
I think their job is supposed to be protecting the safety of United States citizens here at this point. And really what it seems like is that they're working against us, that they're gathering all of this dirt to use against us, not to snuff out safety issues, safety hazards. And I'll tell you something else. And I know it seems like I'm always just saying positive things about Rick Crawford at this point, but I think that, someone who has been in this office and hasn't made a lot of noise, he's not the AOCs. He's not the Matt Gaetzes of the world that's got hits every night on Fox News or CNN or whatever. He's not this person that's got this incredibly cult-like following that seems like of the AOC people of the world, right? He's doing the work behind the scenes, and he has been for years. And look at what it's produced
it's
here,
wild,
right? It's produced like, just let me go to work here, folks. Let me go to work, and this is what's happening.
Yeah. No, it's actually surreal. Like, it's actually surreal. Like that when he announced his candidacy, he came on my radio program all those years ago, It's just kind of wild that this is where we are. This is my thought on it. Like, Rick and other people on the Intel committee have had this report for a long time, and they've read it, they're familiar with it, but it's been highly classified. Do you understand how difficult? Have you ever thought about this? Like, how difficult it would be to keep that information secret? Obviously, it's not that hard because you're going to go to jail if you divulge it because it's classified. But how frustrating it would be if you're somebody like Rick Crawford or Devin Nunes that knows the truth, that looks at, that knows the intel, that knows Obama ordered it, that knows Putin actually had dirt on Clinton, not Trump, and he didn't use it.
Right.
Like, and then you watch Adam Schiff go on national television every night and lie. You watch the media keep getting their leaks from deep state people like James Comey and putting out this stuff, and yet like, actually, we have the truth. This is total lies. I mean, like, how frustrating would that be if that was you and you had to just keep your mouth shut and hope and pray that someday the truth will be known?
It would be interesting if you had the time and inclination, if you watched every interview that they've given ever since they had this information, since 2016 and all of this stuff when it came out, like Devin Nunes and I Rick Crawford doesn't give a whole lot, right? He's been on that community since 17. He doesn't give a whole lot of interviews, or at least that I have seen.
No.
And
he does local.
Right. And you wonder too, like if you could re-listen to all of the interviews and if there were little nuggets there that he was wanting to say stuff, either of them. But they couldn't because of classified information. The bottom line here is that the trust in our intel community, the trust in our law enforcement in terms of like the FBI and all of that is at an all-time low. This is the right step into restoring that trust. No matter what CNN wants to cut away from the briefings, no matter what MSNBC wants to do to spin all of this stuff, the realistic story that we've got to encounter here is that a sitting president committed treason, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many, many people.
Yeah. And something's got to be done about it.
It's got to be, or else it's going to happen again.
Or it's going to happen again.
It'll be worse.
Yeah, the point you made yesterday on the program is, if we don't winnow our enemies, well, that's the phrase I use, but if we don't do this, then if the Democrats do get back in power, not only is it going to be bad, but they have no incentive to not literally just do a full communist takeover and strip everybody of their rights.
And we got blistered on that clip. Somebody was blistering me about it, like, oh, these guys are watching Fox News too much. I watch Fox News in the morning as background noise while I'm checking my email.
Yeah.
But I don't watch. I'm not anti-Fox News, but I'm not sitting. We are getting our news from independent journalists.
That's right.
Because that's where the real stuff is happening. But everybody's like, oh, we're out of touch. They keep saying, oh, these people are out of touch. I'm like,
was that on TikTok?
Oh, it might have been TikTok. It might have been Twitter. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was very much a leftist. I clicked on him. He had pronouns in his bio and all of this stuff, right? I mean, that's just kind of the indicator. But anyway, they say we're out of touch with stuff, and I'm like, what are you talking about? When is the last time that you actually questioned a narrative from your Democrat, when your Adam Schiff, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, AOC, when these lunatics are actually speaking to you? When is the last time that you actually questioned what was said to them?
Yeah.
And then they're accusing us of trying to focus on this to divert from the Epstein files. We're still pissed about the Epstein files. We're not giving up on that stuff. But the sitting United States president ordered a fake intel report, folks. That is treason. You need to check your priorities. I don't care what your Democratic card says or your Republican card says. A sitting president tried to take down the incoming president.
Yeah. Its magnitude's bigger than Watergate, and honestly,
by far,
it's actually it's also similar to Watergate in that this is what Watergate, what history says Watergate is actually something like faking intelligence and the deep state setting up Nixon.
Watergate wasn't nearly as bad as it was made out to be.
But what I'm saying is the CIA set Nixon up. That's what I'm saying.
That's right. Yeah.
And
I mean, Watergate was bad, but you get it.
Yeah.
He walked right into the trap.
Right. And so this is the trap.
Yeah.
A similar situation. This is how they take out, if they can't do a Kennedy, they'll try to Nixon you. But they got caught this time.
Oh, yeah.
That's the story.
That is
cover-up
the story.
is worse than the crime.
And it tore the entire country apart for 2.5 years.
Yeah, it did. As a matter of fact, I reposted. Let me see if I can't find this. I reposted Rick Crawford's tweet here.
Yeah.
Now, here we go.
If you are watching on Ex America News or any of that stuff, if you would please give us a retweet, we would really appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely.
We feel like this message is speaking to conservatives nationwide here, and we all need to rally behind this stuff. We cannot let this go.
That's right. And don't forget, go to Paul Talk Show, paultalkshow.substack.com if you want to become a member, you want to subscribe and help us do what we do. When you do that, you'll get a copy of Left Wing Will and the Red Pill, the card game that laughs at the left's expense.
It's very much like Cards Against Humanity, right? There's a
we
category.
Should play it sometime.
Yeah,
on
we need
air.
to play it live on air. But there's a category, and then you get to choose your selections, very much like Cards Against Humanity or Apples to Apples, and all of them are ridiculous tropes of the left.
Like we've got one card, like a literal whale in a bikini on the cover of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition.
Oh my
This was so we wrote that one before Sports Illustrated went away, but it was right before they started, putting body positivity. So we thought, well, what if they put a literal whale on the cover?
I'd like to lose about 20 pounds, but the people they were putting on the front of Sports Illustrated were like, okay, I think you need to lose 200 pounds.
You will find these
You've
people
got
attractive.
diabetes, respectfully.
Okay, so this is what Rick Crawford said. He retweeted Tulsi Gabbard's really great flowchart exposing how the Russian hoax became a hoax. But to your point, Rob, he says, the Russia hoax will go down as one of the most troublesome events in U.S. history. A president of the United States was falsely accused, and a nation had to endure lies fabricated by rogue personnel within their own intelligence community. To this day, our country is more polarized than ever before, and the Russia hoax played a role in that. There are still Americans who passionately believe the fabricated narrative. That is why releasing this document to the public has been so important. And I'll also say, if there are going to be arrests, Rob, like if that is something that is actually going to happen, which it must, you also need to give time to the public to get used to the idea, or you need to give the public time to get used to the idea as well. And I think letting us read these documents ourselves and actually realizing it is a big part of that process.
Yeah, don't try to spin the narrative. Just put it out there. Let us make our own decisions about it. And if someone reads that and sees that Barack Obama and the intel community manufactured these documents as alleged by Tulsi Gabbard, and even not even just alleged, as proven with these documents here, when the infamous December 9th meeting, right? Everything was all hunky-dory on December 8th. And then December 9th happened. Boom. Here we go. This is a coup against the incoming president. Put it out there. Let us see it for ourselves. Then let's make our own decisions. And if you look at that and you say, oh, well, there's no there, and it proves it, then you're just a liberal hack, and there is no reasoning with you.
100%. Here is Mike Benz on Greg Gutfeld's show. This is what he said. It's just a minute clip here.
Where are we going with this? How do you see it?
Well, you need to have accountability. There has to be criminal penalties for cooking intelligence. We have gone to war over cooked intelligence in Iraq and Afghanistan. We have had, how many decisions did Trump need to make as president of the United States because he had to play ball with different wings of Congress to protect him against Bob Mueller? At a certain point, there needs to be an image that people look back at a decade from now, 5 years, when they say, there's this guy I don't want to end up like because he got indicted for this. And whether that's John Brennan or James Comey or the former president, they opened that door, and I think that action needs to be taken. And I just hope that things are not lost in the great Bermuda Triangle of Pam Bondi's desk right now of everything else that's
on my
there.
desk
This
for
is a
review.
big one, and you can't miss it.
I hope. I have a feeling it's Brennan. That's if I were going to put my money. They need a scalp, and he seems like the guy that's behind all
Take
this.
Clapper too.
Oh yeah, Clapper as well. Clap on, clap off.
No, I'm going to say this about Gutfeld.
Hey,
dude.
Gutfeld.
He is so much
so
better
funny.
than Colbert, Kimmel, or Fallon. I mean,
He ended there. I mean, let's just be honest. He's going to end late night comedy because he's actually funny.
He is. He's funny. His writing staff's great. His monologues. I don't know if he does. Surely he doesn't write all of his own jokes. I think actually he has a whole segment where he reads jokes that somebody else that got cut. So he does have good writers.
Well, there's always that. It takes a village, but I can tell you, I bought his book and he reads it, the audio book. So I very rarely will read a book. I will listen to an audio book, but he reads it, and it's imagine this show but for 8 hours.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Like he's telling about his life, but everything has got a joke. There's always a punchline, and it was a wild ride. I was sitting on the beach listening to it. I loved it. But Gutfeld is genuinely hilarious with stuff, and of course the left is not going to think he's funny. They're going to be mad at him and all of that stuff. But I would say independents and Republicans think he's funny.
Yeah, he does really well in the ratings.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if those independent, of course, Republicans don't think Colbert is funny, but do those independents think he's funny? And I'm just thinking, I don't know.
The numbers show that they're not watching. So
no, they're not watching it at all. They're watching Gutfeld, and he's proven that's a good watch.
He's entertaining them, which is why people tune into a late night show.
Yeah, and you
want to be entertained.
And he's got four guests on every time, and it's a rotating panel. Like Cap Temp's on there. She's a libertarian, right? And then you've got. Who's the big guy?
Tyrus,
thank you. Tyrus on there, former Democrat, right? He's now more conservative, but he's a stand-up comedian. And then there'll be a rotating panel of the other people, but everybody on there is funny.
Yeah. That's the whole point. You're going on there to be funny, make jokes.
It's great. It's
have
great.
A good time.
But he's so right. He's so right. Mike Benz there was bringing up a great point and taking a little shot at Pam Bondi. Hopefully this doesn't get lost on her desk.
The Bermuda Triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle. That's so
that
funny.
is Pam Bondi's desk. Yeah, they still have that issue. They're going to have to.
Funny.
They're going to have some problem with that. But I think fundamentally, and I've made this point for a while. You know how comedians like Jerry Seinfeld and others quit performing on college campuses several years ago because they were so woke and everything.
Sure.
And I just think as the rise of this totalitarian machine, this the woke sex religion of the left and DEI and all of that stuff that comes with it, where everybody's a victim. There's no room to laugh because laughter brings people together. Laughter makes people relaxed.
Right.
Laughter doesn't, it relieves the pressure, and that's why laughter's good. C.S. Lewis even talked about in his book, The Screwtape Letters, where it's a demon writing to another demon saying they don't like laughter because they don't understand laughter, because they don't understand joy, because they are fallen angels or whatever. So this was I guess it was just a symptom of a larger problem, but the left's no longer funny. Hollywood's no longer funny because the political correctness got so out of control. Do you remember how funny? And they were crass comedies, let's be honest. But I mean, in the 2000s, and there were some really. I mean, you remember that movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin?
40-Year-Old Virgin,
it's like
old school.
Yeah, those types
Step
of
Brothers.
movies. Again, while they're crass or whatever, and I wouldn't want my daughter to watch them. They were actually funny. You were allowed to have racial humor.
Sure.
You were allowed to have humor. About the LGBT.
Well, think
can't
about
do that anymore.
Yeah, think about Step Brothers, which is my wife does not say cuss words at all. Like she if she stubs her toe, she might say damn. If she gets whatever. But we watched Step Brothers multiple times, especially before children.
Yeah.
And they're trying to keep the house from selling, and there's KKK guy mowing the yard whenever he was showing a black couple, right?
I haven't seen this movie, I don't think.
The Step Brothers is one of the funniest movies ever made. It's Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, and they're adults, and their dad and mom get married, and so they become stepbrothers, and they're villain. They hate each other vigorously at first, and then they become friends. Well, then they're trying to keep the house from selling because whatever, and there's a song that they sing called Boats and Hoes, and it's fantastic. But anyway, I say all that to say there's so many jokes in there that are crass that are you can't do it. And you watch a stand-up comedian, and a stand-up comedian who will rip on the left and the right, okay? And they'll say that audience is split in half. Everybody's laughing when they're ripping on the right, but the left. I mean, there are some that aren't sticks in the mud, but there'll be 5 or 6 or 10 people out there that are like, and the stand-up comedian will talk about it, and they're like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, we
take a joke.
We didn't plan to go here, but I mean, I remember in the height of when was Chappelle's first?
It was early 2000s.
No. I know that one, the very first one, Killing Them Softly. But when was his first Netflix special? Because he's had several.
I don't know.
It was. It had to be in the first Trump administration. I think it was.
That sounds right.
I watched it. Well, I was back. I was on radio. I know it, so it had to be before 2020. Anyway, I watched that special, and while it was, obviously it's crass but when he started making the trans jokes, I couldn't believe it. Like I remember, I was laughing. I fell on the floor laughing, but I also was like, I can't believe he's doing this.
Yeah.
You can't do this anymore. And of course, they attacked him for it. He got canceled.
Well, they tried to cancel him. He had a three special deal with Netflix. If I remember this correctly, don't quote me on this, but I believe he had a 3 special deal where he was going to shoot 3 specials with them. He had not shot the 3rd one, and there was an overwhelming pressure from the T community, the transgender community, who was saying that he needs to be canceled, do not do this special, and all that stuff. And Netflix, to Netflix's credit, they did not buckle.
He was too funny.
He was too funny.
He was too good, man.
And at the same time, like, man, can you tell me what side of the political aisle with 100% certainty that Dave Chappelle is on?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he leans left.
Yeah,
but he owns guns.
He had a whole joke where he had a whole joke where he was talking about abortion, and you could tell there was leftists in the crowd that were like, but he made the point. He was like, if you have the right to kill it, I should have the right to not pay for it, talking about child support.
Correct.
And then it was just like, you could tell the audience was like, oh, so number one, he's admitting that we are killing the baby.
Yeah.
And number two, he's saying, this doesn't make sense. You have the right to do that, but then you can force me to pay for it.
Right.
Man, it was stuff like that. So to your point, when I said he was canceled, I meant he had a venue up in Minnesota where the staff walked out. They refused, and so he had to cancel that. So this is what happened. But I guess I've been preaching about this whole comedy thing for a long time. When you lose comedy, it just laughter loosens everybody up, and if you don't have comedy, if you don't have laughter, then it's just much easier to hate the other person. And I think that's what Rick Crawford's also talking about as well, just in saying how divided we are. We're divided because of lies and intentional lies, like with Obama, and we're also divided because nobody's laughing anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny Carson ripped on both sides, You never knew where Johnny Carson stood, and that sentiment seems to be long lost these days.
Here is James Clapper, ladies and gentlemen, with who is this? Is this Caitlin Clark? Is that the CNN reporter's name?
Caitlin Collins.
Caitlin Collins. Yeah, Caitlin Clark is the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark.
Forgive me. Caitlin Collins.
When the director says that she's referred these filings to the Justice Department for criminal investigation, tonight we're told they formed what is called a strike force. Do you have concerns that they will attempt to prosecute you?
Well, certainly I do. After 8.5 years of this.
This man, it's in his best interest to pretend like he is the frailest old man he can. He needs to be. This man needs to pretend that he is just the sweetest, nicest. Oh, you're not going to put an old man in jail, are you?
And I don't know of an intelligence product that was more scrutinized, more investigated than that product was by numerous people. It's very disconcerting. It really is. And I take seriously when the President of the United States accuses me of being a participant in a treasonous conspiracy, which is ridiculous.
Well, you accused him of being a Russian asset.
It's ridiculous. It is untrue.
So what will you do if they come after you? What is your plan?
Well, I'll lawyer up, I suppose. Already have.
You've already hired attorneys in anticipation that this Trump Justice Department could try to prosecute you.
We've had sort of perpetual attorneys since I left the government in 2017.
So,
poor man. Oh man,
so
bless his heart.
He's got an attorney, ladies and gentlemen. Got an attorney.
Oh gosh.
All right, so we got 2 more stories to get to. First and foremost is Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett is now saying that Democrats are going to use dark money, and this dark money will be for the good of the American people. That there's going to be dark money groups, but they got the best interests of the American people at heart.
Hold on, before you play this, I want you, when you watch this video, I want you to ask yourself, do you think she intended to say all this, or was she saying the quiet part out loud?
Mm-hmm. Quiet part out loud.
Because I think she's spitballing here and talking out of her rear end. But I also believe that she is trying to send messages, and not messages, like, I mean, she's directing people to do certain things, all in, like, straight out. She's like
bring it on.
Get involved.
Yeah, get involved. Listen to this.
We also know that there are donors that I'm sure are going to be willing to make sure that they are investing and making sure that they can take down some of these candidates, since they don't want to rule out dark money. I'm sure some dark money gonna pour in on the behalf of the American people. So what I am saying is every tactic, as well as making sure we're touching people.
What the hell does that even mean?
Dark money is going to be coming in on behalf of the American people.
Well, because she goes, I'm sure some dark money is going to be coming in on behalf of the American people. Like, she's trying to put the crap back in the horse at that point. You know, like, what you just said, those two things don't go together, sister.
They do not. No, they do not.
Well, and here's the deal. She is the dumbest member of Congress that we hear from regularly. It has nothing to do, contrary to what people say online and all of that, it has nothing to do with the color of her skin, because she is very well educated. She's just stupid in her opinions about stuff. Like, she's talking nonsense, and then she tries to do this whole, like, she'll slip into this, and we ain't doing nothing. Like, she will slip into this kind of thing, and you're just like, whoa, come on, just be authentic. If you have these opinions, that's fine. I don't begrudge you. I have opinions, and they differ from yours, but just be authentic.
I completely agree with you about her being
wait a minute.
One of the dumbest.
Oh, I forgot about Hank. I forgot about this guy.
Okay, all right. You said it, so I had to challenge it, okay? The dumbest member of, I don't have it pulled up, but maybe we'll do it on Monday.
Please,
the dumbest member of Congress is Congressman Hank Capsize Johnson. I call him Hank Capsize Johnson because he's the guy that thought that Guam could become too overly populated, the island of Guam, and it would tip over and capsize. And the Navy Admiral...
the long pause before he spoke.
Sir, we don't anticipate that happening. That man deserves a medal for not busting out laughing.
How could he not? I don't know how he did it, man. He deserves an award.
A controversial.
Unbelievable. All right, so then the last story we have for you today.
Oh, this is Arkansas, but it's national relevance here.
Local story here from a local affiliate.
So this was a billboard that was purchased in Bentonville, Arkansas, which is northwest Arkansas. It's also the home of Walmart.
Yes.
A controversial billboard advertisement in Benton has been pulled from circulation. It displayed a Mexican flag while saying, quote, "If you are waving a Mexican flag, you belong in Mexico. Hashtag America first," end quote.
Neil Zarang reports live from Benton now. And Neil, you learned a little bit more about where this ad came from and why it's now gone. What can you tell us?
Well, over a few phone calls, I spoke with the owner of this billboard, and I also spoke with, according to a couple of sources, who they believe was the person who leased this advertisement. The former gave me quite a bit of context. The second, well, they hung up as soon as I said, "I'm Neil Zarang with KRK."
I didn't feel comfortable about it because when I saw it and read it, I don't know, I feel like something wrong.
Wait a minute. So what do you mean? What's wrong?
Why is the first guy they go to a Hispanic person? Like, why's the first? That's the first person that we see.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Was this KRK?
This is KARK.
Okay, so they're left anyway.
Yeah,
I did want to say this. I said Bentonville. Benton, Arkansas is different than Bentonville.
It's around the Little Rock area.
Yeah.
I think the billboard could have been more carefully phrased. However, I do agree with the sentiment.
For or against, right or wrong, this advertisement in Benton certainly got a lot of attention. So much so it was pulled on Thursday after a 2 or 3 day run, according to the billboard owner. Over the phone, the owner stated the ad, was put up there in response to the Mexican flag being used as a victory flag when they attacked the ICE agents. That's what I was told.
In that context, I absolutely agree with it. Those immigrants are here. They're in America hoping to benefit from America and the values and those opportunities, so they should be showing respect for the country that they're currently in.
They're just trying to be, telling people where they come from. They be proud about it. They're waving the flag, not because they want to...
But we can't wave the American flag.
I don't know. I'm not going to listen to it. This is a waste of time.
Well,
the report is ridiculous.
Well, the other girl that was given the commentary, she's pleasant looking. Number one, just want to say that. But number two, like, she's right. Like, when you're talking about the specific thing that billboard was put up to say is, like, there was an app going out there telling about ICE raids that are coming in, right? There is a massive effort.
Yeah, ICE block, yeah.
To dox these people, and they're just trying to do their job. And so then they're doing this and waving the Mexican flag. You love Mexico so much. You love Mexico so much that you came here to America illegally, and you're going to wave that Mexican flag? Like, maybe I don't understand. Maybe I need further conversations with someone waving that flag. I'd like them to explain what the motivation is.
The motivation is that revolutions and coups must not be spoken about in public, and it's an actual invasion. This is we don't want to be American. We want to make America Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real reason. And anybody that wants to be honest, I mean, if you really are honest about it, just
sure
believe your own eyes.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
So, Rob, I want to thank you again for co-hosting with me today. I think we're out of time.
Yeah, great show today. Obviously sad about Hulk Hogan passing away, but I'm really happy that he gave his life to Christ. Re-gave his life to Christ toward the end of his life.
Yeah,
so
no, absolutely. Good. It's good. I mean, I guess what we could say is, he was like, "What's going on, brother?" But you believe in Jesus. You're a Christian. I'm a Christian. So I guess he really is our brother.
He is. He's our brother in Christ.
There you go. There you go.
There we go.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for us today. Don't forget to follow over on X at Paul Talk Show, as well as at Real Paul Harrell, as well as at Rob Spencer 43. Also go to paultalkshow.substack.com to become a subscriber and get your copy of Left Wing Will and the Red Pill. That's all the time that we have. I will be back here tomorrow at noon Central hosting the Millstone Report live on X America News. God bless everybody out there watching, and we will see you soon.